Welcome back to another episode of Father Time with De'Meco and Blair, a podcast where dads talk about balancing fatherhood, relationships, careers, and passions. I'm De'Meco, your resident first-time dad, navigating the wild waters of toddlerhood, and baby girl is moving.
Or walking?
Bro, she running now. I don't even take a stroller out for the walks anymore because she doesn't want to be in the stroller. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I remember that defiant age because my daughter is 7. I'm the play upon host of the Motion Country Cousin Ceremony, aka Blair, and I'm the father to a 7-year-old who legit today we just had to have a very serious talk that we'll get into here during the pod.
Yeah, Can't wait to dive in.
So I had to explain to her the difference between mad and just feeling some things. So. But it was good. We got through it.
I mean, of course, because that's what we do here. We get through it.
Dads, man. That's what the fuck we do. That's the fuck we do.
Yeah, I love it. Oh man,
Bro, how was your week, dog?
Yeah, that's the t-shirt. That's a t-shirt right there.
We dads, we get through shit.
We get through it. We get through it. The week was good. Yeah, I think the big thing, and I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but I think I did, but that little bit of advice from Ube about just staying grounded, it's made me realize like it's not my schedule anymore.
It never was. Once you have a kid, it never was your schedule.
It never. But like you got to remind yourself that though,
for sure.
You know,
for shit show.
With each new stage that Mayari goes through, there are new hurdles every day. So it's like, we can probably get into it this episode if we want to.
Run it. It's ours. Run it.
Let's do it. All right. So now we've been talking about this for a minute, Kate and I, the idea of having a second child. Doctors advised us to wait 18 months after Mayari was born to give Kate and her body time to heal, obviously emergency C-section, all that stuff. So obviously every day since Mayari was born, we're like, all right, so we big 3, are we big 4? What are we thinking? And I've recognized, and I've seen some posts about it. You are just learning how to parent with your first child.
Yeah.
You're not actually parenting your first child. You're learning. It's that second child where you're like, oh, okay, I get it. And kind of like what Patrick was saying in his episode. If you're going to have multiple kids, have so in somewhat quick succession where there isn't so big of a gap, because right now, like, all right, if we have another baby, let's say a year from now, all right, well, I'm only 1 year, 18 months removed from that 2-hour sleep schedule of feeding, sleep, change diaper, go to bed. Yeah. Like I'm only 18 months away from that. So it's not so far removed where I forgot how to do it, you know? But yeah, we can get into it. Like if you want, cause I know you had mentioned it as well, talking about having another child, with your wife and, what those conversations look like. Cause it's a big, like we take it seriously. It's not something like, we don't want it to happen by accident.
No.
I don't want to be surprised by it.
Love a little insight, a little forewarning.
Yeah, I'd like to be prepared. Yeah, exactly. Like you know what you're doing when you're doing what you're doing. And yeah, so there's so much that goes into
when you're doing what you're doing. When you out here adulting, you know what the fuck you doing.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, we're just surviving. Like right now, it's she doesn't want to be in the stroller.
Yeah,
so we don't bring the stroller out.
It's so to go back, bro. It's crazy to think about it too, because my wife and my wife, you know this, and I'm pretty sure the chat or the people know this. My wife is not my daughter's mom. So my wife, when we have a child, it will be her first child. And I was just legit earlier today, my daughter and I were talking after her performance. She had a ballet performance where they did like a little Mario rendition. It was cute as shit. I felt like a proud father. She's getting her sachet on, her little pure waves and shit. But when we got home, she was explaining how she drew a picture and she was telling me how she wanted siblings. She wanted 3 sisters and 1 brother, and I was like, God, where you getting that at? Who doing that? Because we run a very press defense. Right now, it's a great zone defense because it's just one person with 4 niggas around. It's a shell defense. She can get all the running underneath that she wants. Once she gets to the goal line, it's a lot of right here on her. And the more people you bring in, the more kids you bring into that, of course, it changes. And the dynamic changes. You run like John Ram just announced that he's about to have his 3rd child. That's a zone defense now. Now you gotta start thinking about the parenting styles a little different and like how you do things. But so I was explaining to my daughter how her mom could have a kid and we can have a kid. And then it got me to thinking about the conversations that I have with my wife and that we've been having since we gotten together. Because at first it was like, I don't want another kid. I already got my one. I was John Calipari. I got my one and I was done. Send me to the league with this one. Boy, girl, no different. I don't care. I got my baby. That's all I wanted. But now, like seeing her and enjoying that, and then seeing my wife and how she interacts with her niece, is just like, damn, bro. Like, I want to be able to give you as many children as you want, and she's down to have just one. So another one and done. We out here living. But no, it's just like those moments where you have those conversations, and it's like my wife can see my daughter fully realize 7 years into her life. So it's like, all right, do these things mesh with how I was when I was a kid, or like whatever thoughts she has. And then we sit down and we kind of talk about those things of like, she knows that I'm on board with when we have our child, and even my daughter right now. Like, I want my daughter right now to have her second language be Spanish, because she's going to end up having a sibling who first language damn near is going to be Spanish, because I'm going to make sure my wife creates that with our child. I'm on Duolingo. I got the whole year joint, so I'm trying to figure out how to speak Spanish myself. I'm still tiptoeing in the waters with it. Bro, thinking about that, I'm like, I hate myself for taking Spanish classes, nap class when I was in high school. Stupidest thing I could have ever done. But I digress. It was just like, it's scary for me because my daughter is 7. I'm used to getting sleep, and I hate the fact that some days I gotta wake up at like 4 or 6, or sometimes I don't get sleep, and I'm up until 8 o'clock in the morning, your time. So it's like,
bro,
the sleep schedule's fucked, y'all.
For real. I feel some type of way whenever I do start messaging you, and I was like, oh, I'm up. He's up. That means he didn't go to sleep, and I'm so close. Like, nigga, go to sleep. We need you rested.
The morning, like, go to bed,
bro. For real. Like, I get it. We getting work done right now, but like, go to bed. This can wait.
But no, it goes back to the fears of everything. Luckily, I don't have as many fears going into this situation if my wife and I are to have a kid that I did with my child's mom, because my child's mom and I didn't know each other that much. I didn't know her history. I didn't know her family or any of those things. Where with my wife currently, I know I've been knowing her for 6 years. So I've been in her family for a while. I know how her brother, her mom works, her sister works, her dad, I know what makes her tick. I know all of those little bitty things that you find out while you're dating somebody that will end up trickling down to your child. I know all those things about my wife. So I'm confident going into this situation. And even knowing that my daughter's going to be a great help, you know what I'm saying? Like, because she is so interested in being a big sister, she's going to kill this shit, bro. Yeah. I can't wait to see her get the chance to do it. But it is a worry because financially, are you ready? Are you prepared for a kid that might have disabilities, that might not? What if your one kid in your brain turns out to be triplets, quadruplets, or twins? Like, those are all things we don't have control over, bro. So yeah, the game plan is to have one more kid, but fuck, twins running her family.
That's the conversation. that's the conversation, because twins don't run in my family, but there was a set of twins on my mom's side. So like, it can happen. I'm not a scientist. I don't know how the thing works. That you get the ingredients, you mix it up, and boom, there's a baby. I don't know how it works. Like, honestly, like, we obviously, full transparency, like when Kate and I talked about having kids before Mayari was born. I will speak for myself, was fully prepared for a baby that shared a similar complexion than mine.
Yeah, for sure.
Me.
For sure.
I mean, and when Mayari came out, I was, man, that's a beautiful baby. That's my baby. And everyone was telling me, like my mom, it was like, oh, it takes a minute for like the pigmentation to
drop.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. Like whatever, cool. Like whatever. And so I hear it often where it's like, oh, she looks just like her mom. I'm like, so you telling me she looks white? Like that's
white
what
baby is this?
I know. Beautiful baby, cute as a button. Every bit of her mom. I'm like, yeah, you do look like your mom. Like you're beautiful. I love it. I'm like, I'm the personality, the little, like right now. And I don't think I told you this. She says no. We know that. She says no, but Kate and I look at each other. We're like, I don't know whose kid this is. She's like, what do you mean? Because when she says no, she's no, like with the hand in the head. I'm like, oh,
excuse me. Where did this no come from?
No is a complete statement in this house. So all right,
no means for real. No for real means no, shouting, and that's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't stutter. What did Stanley say? Did I stutter? Yeah, no. Yo, Stanley Hudson.
Man, we forgot to put him down as one of the top dads. He a killer too.
Is he though?
Shit. Well, the way that he protected his daughter with Ryan. One scene of him being a good dad puts him on the list, but he was a cheater.
I didn't put him. I didn't put him in top husbands. Maybe top dads. Yeah.
But no. So what does that look like? What is a good, like? How does Kate feel about that? Because again, like we as the fathers, we talk about it all the time. And back into the conversation that I sent you via Instagram that we got queued up with the father. Shout out his name real quick.
Yeah. Shout out to B Ricky in the comments. He got Daddy
B.
Yeah,
his name's Daddy B.
Shout out
Daddy B in the comments. So we're going to cue up a video that Daddy B brought up, just talking about the other side that men kind of don't always understand when it comes to parenting. And then I kind of want to get your point of view on this, although I know a bit of it already.
Yeah, I think we
know each other too well to have ebb and flow conversations. Like I'm never going to play devil's advocate too much, but for this, kind of give younger fathers or fathers who might be going into that situation for a second time who don't know or who didn't actually grasp the understanding of what the other partner has to go through. I want to know your point of view, like how you handle that when you went through it, and what advice you would give to yourself then, and what you would give to somebody now, kind of. And I'll do the same. So let's cue up Daddy B's video.
Other partner, can I give you a tip? Only if you have one of these things. Look, Rachel's going to see this TikTok, so it kind of defeats the purpose of this TikTok. But this is like, we have such a good relationship around this, I'm not worried. But if you're the other partner and you're not the breastfeeding partner, try to never, and I mean, do whatever works for your relationship, but try to never like press the issue of hunger. What I mean is she's pretty hungry right now, right? And Rachel was like, can I just rinse off real quick? So we got Laguna just eating away at this hand. Now, do you think that it's not a lot of pressure being Laguna's like food source 24/7? And so I'm sure Rachel, knows her baby she's that subject to her baby. And so if the one person that, is as close to her baby as her is like, yo, like Laguna's hungry, hurry. Like I text her like, hurry up in there. Or, hey, you almost done? Laguna's hungry. Like that would, I couldn't imagine always feeling like, oh, like, you know what I mean? I would describe the feeling more in my interpretation of it, but I don't think I have the right. And if you are breastfeeding, you probably understand this. And if you're not breastfeeding, I need you to understand this. And yeah, take it from Daddy B.
So yeah, what would you tell yourself a year and a half ago, 18 months ago? Now knowing what you know about what your wife had to go through and what she does go through with the parenting process. What would you talk to her? What would you tell younger bro about?
It sounds bad. It sounds conceited. But I mean, it's how I've always approached the relationship that I have with Kate is we're a team. Day one, when we first started dating, we are a team. Whatever I can do to amplify and support what she's trying to do, then I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. I signed up for this day one.
I signed up for this.
Like I chose you. You chose me. Bro, you chose me? Oh, well, then I'm running through a wall for you.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing Kate can't ask me that I won't try to get done for her. So, like, we had talked about, like, the sleepless nights, the early mornings. Like, obviously, we both have that give and take in the relationship. Like, she's more of a night owl, and I'm more of an early bird. So, like, I need to get sleep because she needs to pump, to breastfeed, and so I need to sleep in order to keep the apartment functioning, to make it easy to have the bottles on deck, to have the formula ready, to have food ready for her, because obviously she's so busy pumping and sleeping and creating energy for two people.
Forgot to eat.
I'm like, the least I can do, exactly, I'm like, the least I can do is exert myself to the point where my tiredness will never match hers because she's doing way more than I am. But I can work my ass off where she can't say, De'Meco wasn't trying. De'Meco wasn't present. Like, I refuse for that to be the narrative that surrounds me as a dad. So let's say it would never happen. But if we split up, I don't ever want her to be able to talk bad about me to Mayari or any of her girlfriends. Because I mean, like,
I do.
Girls, and when they're in that setting, will talk about the relationships, good, bad, or indifferent. They will talk about their partner.
Yes, sir.
I just refuse to give Kate any ammunition to talk bad about me. Like, that's just me. I've always kind of felt that way. Like, I just don't want to give her something to complain about. And not that she would, because she's very private in that, like, what our problems are our problems. And shout out, callback, it's called a relationship, not a cruise, okay?
Yes, sir.
Yo, there's only enough room in this boat for
only
two
niggas.
3.
No,
right? Yeah.
That's the thing, though. We'll touch on that later. You two are the main source. Like, that's what I want to. We're gonna hold that because I want to talk about that, but I want to touch on what you just brought up too and give you my side of it. I didn't have that ability, or I would say I didn't have that that confidence to say that I was that nigga. I did not understand a lot of it. Not saying that I was telling Hannah to, like, breastfeed or do this or do that, but for a while I was still. I wouldn't say that I was trying to get things out of her. I think I ignored her completely and just focused on baby. Because again, we had broken up right before the kid was born, or right before she told me that she was pregnant. Me and her had broken up. And she came to my house 2 days later and told me that, she was pregnant, showed me everything. Was like, yo, I swear it's been nobody but you. You can, like, do what you want to do, but I'm letting you know where I stand. What's your opinion? Went in the house, I threw up, scared as shit, came back outside with all my clothes, and I was like, I'm moving in. So let's go for it. Let's go for it. So I'm here. So I knew I wanted to be dedicated, and I knew I wanted to be a dad. I did not know how to be a good father or a good partner to Hannah. So what I would go back and tell younger me was like, yo, cuz, like, you gotta put her needs in a vault of its own too. So we all know baby is number one priority, and you are going to take care of baby. Like, we get that part. But your girl, when baby goes to sleep, or when, aunties and grandmas come over and they can take her, and we do have those date nights, like, she needs to know that she's still top dog, top billing. And that does flow into what I was saying. A lot of people get into relationships or try to stick it out in relationships purely based off of the child. And they try to make the child a part of the relationship. And when you do that, that's when your relationship becomes a business transaction instead of something of love. And I say this with the utmost respect to my daughter, because every one of you guys know I love the hell out of my child, and I will love the hell out of my other child. My children will never know the things that it took to get daddy this patient, but you motherfuckers would feel the wrath if it went down with my babies. That's just how I feel. But my wife is who I care about. Because when my daughter turns 18 or 19 or 17 and she feels like she wants to get out of daddy's house and mama's house and she don't want to talk to me no more for a year or two, who's going to be there? I did not get married just to create life with her, then to leave her once the life was gone. That is my world. So my wife is going to come first. My daughter is 1A. That's how that goes. It's 1 and 1A. And then all the rest of you niggas, all the rest of y'all can fall in there.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, with that statement, how do you feel?
Yeah, give me a little more.
Just to give more to that conversation, they're like how we say it all the time, we're never not dad, right? So I'm never not going to be Penelope's dad. But I have an obligation to my wife that I vowed to protect, to love, to hold, to keep, to provide for, and to cherish and hold. I have a vow to her, and I have a vow to my daughter. The vow to my daughter would never stop, and the vow to my wife would never stop. So, like, again, where do you stand in that feeling of what I just said? Like, do you feel like at a certain time people can utilize their children as placeholders for love, quote unquote? And where do you stand in that line?
Yeah. So I've seen people that stick it out for the kids. I've seen that firsthand, indirectly. Yeah, my dad, my stepmom. Like, I can say with some certainty, they stayed together for my brother and sister.
Your dad didn't want to make the same mistake twice, is what it was.
I don't know. You know, like, I don't know. Is it a mistake? I think I turned out all right.
No, not saying that you're a mistake. He didn't want to make the same, and pardon me for saying it that way. He didn't.
No, that's what I'm saying. My life turned out okay. That's what I'm saying. I know I'm not the mistake. I'm saying that my life turned out okay. So was it a mistake, or was it exactly what needed to happen for all of us? Because obviously he would have been a different, like we've talked about the multiversal versions of us. The relationship that me and my dad may have had may have been vastly different if he had stayed together with my mom. My relationship with my mom may have been vastly different, you know, because like she may have not prioritized me. Not that I'm like being selfish or anything, but like she prioritized me because I'm her baby and she had no other people in her life. But like I said, going back to it, I've seen the other side of it where you choose to stick in the relationship for the kids, and in some aspects that works, some aspects it doesn't. Like, I get it. It depends on the dynamics of the relationship, and that's what I understand with what you were saying. Like, hey, no, there's only two people in the boat, and you're right. You're absolutely right. Because if it's not working with me and Kate, I can't bring Mayari down with the ship. For sure. You know? Like, she's got to be her own ship. Like,
that's when it's a cruise.
I don't like when the. Yeah, when those like little like those little tugboats,
you got a tugboat to
like, hey, you there, like you just floating around doing your thing, but like yeah, you ain't going down with the ship. But yeah, I think the big thing is it's that communication with Kate and I that we have openly said we're a team, and whatever we do to for us, it's for the betterment of the team, and Mayari's part of that team, like obviously, because anything we do is for her. So as long as it aligns with the family goal, then then we good.
And that's what and I think that's the biggest takeaway from both of our arguments with this thing is like two different views of it and perspectives of it, but it's the same destination. Like Hannah and I's relationship was shit for 1.5 years, and then we communicated, and with that simple communication, our daughter's life has gotten better and will continue to get better because she will be able to see her mom and her dad, who aren't together, stay together in a sense. Like we're still friends. And then she gets to see that healthy relationship and then two separate healthy relationships with my wife and then her mother and Ryan's. So in a sense, we got two boats that's tugging along. But when it comes to my wife and I, it's just us. Like she doesn't have the baby yet.
You know what it is? You got a
fleet. Yeah, we got a fleet in the Armada.
You got an Armada. Y'all playing Battleship.
Yes, Lord. Come around here and find something out. No, but I think that's the biggest takeaway that I found in this journey, and then seeing people in the space who are in similar situations as myself when it comes to I don't know, like, and like just remembering again, like you're never not dad. Going back to Ube's conversation, like taking a second to remember where you are. My wife and I will always be. It will always be us. I'm going to make sure that I fight for this relationship. I'm going to make sure that I fight for the longevity in the relationship with my daughter by showing her good shit. And that's just how I see it. But yeah, that's probably just like a long-winded answer to say like it's you got to be able to love your partner and love your child separately. They're not the same thing.
Yeah. No, that's facts. Because I mean, you're right. Like once baby girl turns 18, or I hate you, Dad. It happened. Yeah. I mean, I don't. Again, I sound so cocky. I don't think that shit's gonna happen to me.
Oh no, like it's. And the thing is, you don't have to feel like you sound cocky if you know these things. If you like feel assured in yourself, then like hell yeah, bro. Like yeah, I don't think that I'm gonna have that moment in my life.
Like Kate, like I think it was this past weekend. Kate and I were on a walk, it was her first day of spring break, and so we had just dropped off Mayari to daycare, and we had a walk. Like it was just us with Lincoln. Like we just walked, and I was like, man, this is nice. We hadn't had a chance to walk and talk about the future and what we saw because we were busy experiencing the future because Mayari's there. So we're on high alert. We're on parental duty, like never not dad, never not mom. That's what we were thinking. It was the first time where we were able to like exhale a little bit and have a conversation, just the two of us, about the future. And that's where the talk about having a second child came in, and we weigh the pros and cons of it. Like the big thing is my wife's autonomy of her own body. Like she enjoys to have a drink, to have a smoke, like she likes to throw down like Snoop, we coming, okay? Like she can keep up with you, I promise.
She said she can't. She said she can't. We're gonna throw it to the ring when she come to Oregon.
We're gonna find out.
We'll throw it to the ring when she come to see her brother-in-law.
But like she enjoys that, and like she like enjoys going to the gym, but like obviously having a baby, it your body is not your own.
No, it's invaded by a parasite, and I say that with the utmost respect, but that's exactly what a baby is.
But by the definition, that's
a parasite is a living being inside of you, stripping away all your nutrients.
And I'm like, honestly, I don't know what may happen if we have a boy, if that pregnancy looks different, obviously, like there are those wives' tales of like, oh, if you're having a girl, your daughter is like absorbing the beauty that is you, and you're more like tired or whatever have you, or whatever it is. I'm like, I don't believe any of that. I don't.
Yeah, it's like if you dream of like whales or some shit, you're having a boy, and if not, it's like all these different little wives' tales from like the slavery times that have made it still.
For real.
It's just so one motherfucker can say, I told you so. That's all it was. See, I told you. I told you Jess and them was going to have them a little boy. The bitch kept waddling when she walked. She waddled to the right.
she was swerving to the left.
Okay, she was wilding right but swerving left. Like, don't nobody do that. That's boy material right there.
That's
what? Mary Sue, sit your drunk ass down.
Put down that iced tea, okay?
Somebody spiked your iced tea with Smirnoff. Chill the fuck out. We do want to take the time right now to say thank you guys, because this is our 10th episode. We legit are very excited, very proud of ourselves for being able to get to this point.
Yo, it just hit us.
It really did.
Like,
at
we
the
just
beginning of this episode.
today.
Yeah. But it's crazy because if you look at how we thought we were going to map this process out, episode 10 should have been in like June or July. Because we said 2 episodes a month starting in February. So July would have been episode 10. So like, to think about the content that we've had, to think about the people that have consumed the content. We are in triple digits in 3 of our videos, viewership wise. And you guys have continued to show the support. Just like, keep grinding, keep pushing, because the more you guys push and make this thing dope, the more that gives us the juice to know that we're doing it the right way. And again, we said we're never not dad, but I think the community building process behind this, and if I could speak for you, De'Meco, is more or less what we were shooting for. To see that the community is kind of building, it's fucking dope. You guys are awesome.
Yo, shout out to the dads and moms, whoever you are out there. Drop questions in the comments. We will answer them, and we will answer them on the podcast. We will feature it. We want to build this community, because there are dads out there that are not dadding alone.
But they are.
But they feel like it. They feel like it. Everyone's got questions. That's why I wanted to create this podcast with Blair, was because I wanted to be able to talk about being a dad and the questions I had with somebody that is a little more advanced in the process than I am. We had Patrick Hardy on, father of 4.
Things.
I'm not saying I want 4 kids, but to talk about how he manages all of that, and like we had talked about, your partner, making time for your partner, making time to make sure your partner has time for themselves, all that stuff. Drop questions in there, because we want to answer them, and if we don't have the answer, maybe someone else in the comments has that answer. I was just about to say that. We are just trying to build.
I was just about to say that if we don't got the answer, best believe somebody in the comment section is gonna have an answer. Now, whether you want to take that answer, whether you think it's right or wrong, that's up to you. But the people are going to have answers for you, and that's exactly why we created Father Time, the podcast. Appreciate everybody for like paying attention. Like, share, subscribe. This shit is about to blow, baby. Because the more like y'all understand that we work behind the scenes to make this thing pop. Like, we coming.
Like right now, this is a ship. We trying to make a cruise.
Oh, we want this to be a cruise.
Come on.
Demo Demaria. I love it, man. Yeah. So what are some of your, and damn, I think this was a question that I wanted to ask you last week when we were on. What are some of your what were some of your initial fears behind the scenes when you guys found out you were having a baby?
I would say it's so interesting when you think about. I don't know the dynamics of it for being a mom, but for being a dad, I think you're grappling. And for me, I'll say it for me, grappling with the past. I'm grappling with the relationship I had with my dad when I was a child, grappling with the relationship I had with my dad when I found out we were expecting, and the dynamics of all that, and wanting to make sure it's what you always hear, like giving your child a better life than what you had. And I wanted to make sure that Mayara never experienced any of the bad that I experienced. I've taken upon myself to turn those negatives into positives in my own life. Like case in point, like my dad was devoted to my own success, but his definition of it, and that's where we bumped heads. Well, I take that devotion that I saw my dad, like making sure I was getting up to go to school, go to the driving range. He never had to make sure I was going to the driving range. I loved to practice. That was probably the best compliment I ever got from coaches was De'Meco likes to practice. Like you never got to tell De'Meco to practice. But it was that devotion that I take with Mayara. Whatever she wants to do, we do it. I'm going to take that devotion with that, but it's like the bad stuff. You think about like the disciplining, and I'm like, I will overcorrect because I don't ever want my daughter to look at me the same way that I at times had to look at my dad. I just refuse to fall into that. So that was the thing that I probably grappled with the most, and that I was most fearful is. And it sounds bad, but I'm like, I don't want to be my dad, but I in the best possible way, I want to be like him. But at the same time, I don't. The bad stuff, you can keep that shit, but I will be better. Like, and again, I always preface it like this. I'm like, I don't want to sound cocky, but I am a better dad.
Hey man, fuck that.
Because
fuck that. Be arrogant when you say that because you are. I don't know your daddy. I don't know you and your daddy's situation when you were one. But what you are doing right now, brother, you a better daddy. And I feel the same way about myself. So nigga, say that shit with all the confidence, the chest big as hell, the peacock feathers all the way out. You are a better daddy.
Bro, I feel like we should I want to share that other video you sent because that's where I pulled it from was by the sheer fact of us talking and creating this platform for us to talk about it, to have these conversations. I know I'm a better dad than my dad.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the goal, right?
It's always the goal.
Mayari is already set up to be better than I was as a kid because I'm having these conversations. I'm actively deciding to be a better person, a better dad, in the best possible way of recognizing that while my dad was devoted to my success, it was his definition of that. So he wasn't parenting me specifically. He was just parenting. Okay. And I am going to parent Mayari specifically. And obviously talking about having additional kids, I will parent them specifically and understand like you need to be the parent that your child needs at that moment. Not what you were yesterday, not what you expect yourself to be when they're 16, 18, whatever it is. Just be present. Like to the minute present. Like that's all that is. And so often I think in fatherhood you're operating on both ends of the timeline. You're thinking about, oh, all right, well, this is how it was yesterday, and this is how I want it to be tomorrow. Not looking at your child
not ever
today
stopping
on what they need.
Not
right
ever
now.
Stopping to actually care about who your baby is today, because your baby's not the same person as yesterday, and your baby won't be the same person tomorrow. Who is that person today? Like where I stand as a parent and in the space of time, like you were saying, it's like you got to parent to your child today or tomorrow. A lot of parents have to play catch up mentally. They feel like they have to. A lot of parents are fighting themselves with that inner battle of like, I want my kid to grow up the way I did, like have those things that make them strong, that make them tough. But I also want to give my kid the world. And then you have the parents who are unnecessary, like not like in a attacking way, but in a very honest way, like our parents and the parents before them who didn't truly have proper tools. People didn't tell them that it was okay to talk about their problems with each other without being, I would say, like joked at, because that's what it was. Like if you told somebody that you had a problem or that you were having problems, they thought that you didn't have control over your kids, your family wasn't right, or like you guys were crazy and all those things. So it's just like right now in the world that we live in, we have more conscious parents who want to have better tools in their tool belt so they are proper parents to their children, because we understand the trauma that our parents had to deal with and then in turn had to be raising kids at the same time. Like that is weird. And a lot of our parents were kids when they had us, which is weird. Like my mom was 17 when she had my brother and she was 20 when she had me. She was a baby. This is a baby raising babies, dog. That's wild to think about. Especially to think that I was 26 when Penelope was born or some shit like that, 26, 27. And even then I thought that I had a decent grasp on life, but I knew there were things that was missing. And the second that I found out I was having a kid, I needed to fix that. So it was how do you fix yourself in order to be a better parent? So that's when therapy came into question, utilizing the other men around me in my life that I considered father figures or like OGs. And instead of talking to them about senseless bullshit, I actually started to ask deeper questions about how they handled situations that I felt like I would have to handle. My daughter wasn't nowhere near these ages of the hypotheticals that I was hollering at these homies about, but I think they were the first people to kind of tell me to embrace being present, which is a thing that I do with my daughters, a thing that I do to myself a lot, and a thing that I do with the people that I coach, or even people that I love. I find myself doing this at the Air Max event with my homeboys, all three of them. I went to them separately, and I was like, I just want you to take a second to like stop, like feel your 10 toes, your heel, the ball of your foot, like feel where they're at in the shoes that you're in. Like take a deep breath, look around at what you've created, and then exhale and then get back to it. Because when you're so busy, you don't have the thought to be like, this is a memory. This is a moment. And as parents, those things are every single second. Like everything your child does is a moment, is a memory. To them, it's fleeting because they're 1, 2, 3, 4. But to you, you're reliving those things that you wish you could have, right? You're reliving all those things for a second time. If not like a second time, but you're reliving it for the first time over again is what I would say. Not a second time. You're reliving that thing for the first time over again, and you need to be grasping those moments. I watched a video of a psychiatrist, and she was saying that she talked to a group of 9-year-olds, like a classroom of 9-year-olds individually, and asked them just like how they were doing and like what they liked or didn't like about their parents. And she said the number one thing all the kids were saying was how busy their parents were. One kid was like, my mom said that she's always busy, but has time to text her friends. So is she really busy, or does she just not want to talk to me? I feel like I shouldn't be here. So being aware as a parent, because we are aware, our children are going to be ultra aware, uber aware.
Yeah.
So you have to be constantly being conscious of your actions, because your baby's they checking for that shit. Yeah. It's crazy, bro. Like when I saw that shit broke my heart. Because I was like, what, like, would my baby say that if she talked to somebody? Will my baby say like, hey, Alma loves me more than my dad does because my dad is always on the computer whenever I'm over there. So it's like, fuck. Okay. That was one of those moments where like you gotta kind of like self-check.
Yeah.
For sure, dog. It's like, damn. Fuck. I was like, that was one of them fuck moments.
Yeah, I can feel that. Hopefully we build this to be something a little bit more sustainable. And again, whenever we figure this time zone situation out and we start recording episodes at a normal time for baby girl to be up, obviously pop-ins so she can see that this is Yeah, I'm on the computer, but I'm just talking to a friend.
And that's what
we just having
and
a
that's what I
conversation.
love when she does come over here. I'm like, yo, say like you see Uncle De'Meco. Like I'm not playing games. I'm not just talking to myself or live streaming. Like I would gut punch. I would take time out of my day with my daughter to stream video games because I gave these people a schedule. These people who don't give a fuck about me right now could not care less about me. They're going to follow another streamer, right? But I gave these people a time limit that I would be here, and it's usually 2-3 hours, and that's 2-3 hours I'm not with Shorty. Really? To play games?
Yeah.
Nah, I'd much rather be spending an hour and a half, 2 hours away from my child to create a diary she can look back on and be like, oh, my dad was really working. And my dad was the shit that my daddy was telling me in the crib. He was actually preaching to people. Like he was talking about it, doing it, and telling me about it. So like, my daddy was real about that shit. That's what I want from her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're doing here. I mean, obviously it's not going to be perfect. Every child has their gripe about their parents of mama could have done this or dad could have done this, whatever it is. But the thing is, you never make the same mistake twice.
No.
Even though it wasn't my mistake to make, the certain aspects of how my dad raised me were mistakes that I inherited.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not making those mistakes again. I'm not making the mistakes my dad made again with Mayar.
Yes, sir.
So everything I do for myself it's for her. It's for that next generation. I know that if our family vibe media company, because that's what we're going to call it now, pops off, it's not for my benefit. It's for my family's benefit. That down the line, it becomes something greater that is longstanding and can create generational wealth for the whole family. I mean, I realize I'm not going to be the millionaire, but if I can help Mayari be that, because that's the goal.
You're right.
Just right when you were about to jump into yours, it reminded me. You talk about parenting, being present, all that stuff. You talked about at the beginning of the episode. What happened?
Yeah, I was just about to get into it. That's crazy.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's get into it.
Earlier today, or after we hung out, she did her little thing. We were playing Mario Kart, kicking that ass. You dig? You know, no easy dubs around here. But we were playing, and I forgot how we got on the topic of one of her little friends. But we talked about one of her little friends, and I was like, I think she's mean, along with you, and that's why you guys get along, because you're both little jerks to each other. And I could see in her body language that it rocked her. And I was like, are you okay? Or do you want to keep playing? And she was like, I want to keep playing. But then her attitude changed. Like, again, my daughter and I have our energies are literally the same exact person attitude wise. So I was like, I know what's going on. It's like, if you want to talk about being mad at daddy about what I said, we can. Or we could just play the game. And she just like eyeballed me because that's her way of, I guess, like trying to process the situation. And I just let her know, like, there's moments in time where you are mean, and it's perfectly okay for me to say that because I still love you, even though you might have said something or done something I don't love or like. It might hurt my feelings. It might make me mad. It might make me sad. But the baseline of it is I still love you. You still my nigga to the end of the day. And she just legit hated the fact that I talked about her friend like that. But I think what I have to start doing, and not have to start doing, but the thing that I need to express to my daughter more is like my feelings, because I think she sees me as so, I guess, like tough daddy, that she feels like I don't have emotions or like true feelings. And I'm like, no, there's things that you do on a daily that make daddy hurt, that like I would cry about, right? Like I have told my daughter that I loved her for God knows how long. And I've never once got it back without being like, say it back. Like I have to coax that out of her, right? No problem with that. I wasn't around for the longest time. She had her little grow up phase with her mom. That thing is where that thing is. But then it's moments where it's like, I let her know like, hey, so the way that you defend your friends or the way that you get mad and say how like somebody else is number one over daddy, all those things, like how do you think that makes daddy feel? Or when I'm asking you for a hug before you leave the house, or I tell you how much I care about you. Um, you don't have like again, and for the people who listen, she doesn't have to tell me anything. My daughter is not here for me, but I would love to have some type of discourse with my daughter, right? Some type of give and take. And in that moment, I was like, I think this is the proper time to not yell it at her because I never will, or like make her feel bad about it. But this is a teaching moment, a coaching moment where it's like, yeah, I know that daddy might have made you mad. And there's times that you make daddy mad. There's times that you hurt daddy's feelings. Sometimes daddy gets sad when you do and say things. But overall, we just say, we're sorry if we have to. We accept our role in situations because you've played that role when and if we have to. And we move on from it. But we still love each other. Like at the end of the day, the only person besides my mommy that has the same blood as me running through their blood is you. Alma has daddy's last name. You have my face. You have my personality. You have my temperament. Everything that I think we got. I'm pretty fucking sure my daughter and I share the same exact blood type. So like you are a spitting image of me. And for you to have moments in time where like you treat that as if it's a negative, that hurts daddy's feelings. When your mommy tells you, hey, you look just like your daddy, you act just like your daddy, you're like, oh no, I don't. I'm like, damn, what? And I think for me, it's coming from a place of I didn't have my dad, and I heard people say like, yo, you look like your pops. And I was like, oh, really? Like I was inquisitive, like tell me more, like what part of my face looks like that nigga face so I can stare at me in the mirror and be happy or to find some type of solace. So for her, and I think we've put her in a position, which is not a bad thing, but we put her in a position and she lives in a state where a lot of people don't have that sense of respect and love that we had to have for our parents. There's no yes ma'am, no ma'am out here in Oregon. On the West Coast in general, excuse me. Like there's no yes ma'am, no ma'am. There's no like true niceness. There's just people who are kind. So I think that's rubbed off on her. And again, I wasn't mad about it. It was a teaching moment where I was able to let her know, like, hey, you do hurt daddy's feelings more often than not. I'll let you know with the things you say when you do finally talk to me. But I will forever in a day love you up and down, left and right, in circles, backwards and forwards. There's nothing you could ever do in this world that would make me mad at you to where I didn't love you. I'm just going to be disappointed. I love you always. So that was one of those things where it was like, fucking hell, dude. Like, there was moments before where legit broke me, and I would just like hold on to it and let her let her just like run off and like say what she said or felt how she felt. And when she left the house the next day or that same day, I would just like be mad with my wife, and just like vent and frustrate. But now I don't want my daughter to walk around this earth feeling like she can talk and act the way that she does to people at 7. You know, at a certain point, there's going to be an action of hers. It's going to be repeatable. So we want to be able to nip that shit in the bud real quick. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, hell, if you don't like daddy ever again, that's fine. But at least you know you love daddy. Like, we are a family. Like I told her, I was like, we are a family. You can be mad at me, but it's cuts and then everybody else. So that's really all it was. It wasn't like the worst thing in the world, but it was one of those moments where I was like, yo, I got to talk to you and you got to feel this. And it wasn't a moment where I was like, yo, daddy's going to be nice and give you candy and treats afterwards to like make you feel okay because I know and I can see that you feel bad. Nope, you cool. Do you want to still play Mario Kart with daddy, or do you want to go to your room and relax yourself? Do you need to collect yourself in your room by yourself? She was like, I want to go to my room. Cool. We're going to have a little small talk so I can understand your point of view and where you're coming from before you leave in your 7-year-old brain that has no rationale. I want to know what rationally works for you. And that's what daddy's going to take to the bank and we can work with from there. And she let me know, like, I just didn't like that you said it about my friend. I understand what you're saying, though, daddy. Like, I am you. You, like, I have your face. Not in those words, but, like, in her little baby, like, the way that she communicates, like, it's like, I know that we're the same. She didn't say sorry for hurting my feelings or anything, but she's like, I know what you mean. It's like, yeah, be mad all goddamn day, but no love is leaving this house. Love lives here all the time, whether you mad or not. You can, but your children aren't here for you, and that's what I have to keep reminding myself in moments that I hurt like this. It's like she has her right. She has the right to feel the way that she feels. I did not make Penelope for Blair. Penelope is her own person. She's going to be her own person well after I'm gone. But I want what almost any parent would want, and that's just a relationship. Whatever that is from her point of view, I want to be able to honor that and respect that. But she's 7, and I am here. I'm active. I'm around. There's no reason for me to be third and fourth fiddle to like cats and dogs and cartoon characters. Like that was a conversation she truly needs to have because she's starting to grow up. Like we're not gonna live this way.
No, I can feel that, especially like voicing it, like when she may say it, and I can only think about it like if when Mayar is old enough, she starts putting Lincoln, who's our dog, above me, and part of me thinks that that's being said to kind of test a limit, to get a rise out, you know. But I think it is important to express to your kids, hey, you hurt my feelings.
That type of open communication.
Hey, I get what you're saying. I just want you to know that you hurt my feelings. And when you're saying that her friend was mean, and I thought when you were talking about it, I thought the way you were going to go with it was pivoting how you present that statement, instead of saying, no, your friend's mean, being like, hey, just like from my perspective, it seems like your friend is being very mean, or it just like as if they were being mean to you, because your feelings are your truth. That's real. How you feel, like that's how you perceive the world. You can't negotiate with me on how, if you say something to me, how it made me feel. Like, I'm not saying it was right or wrong. I'm just letting you know what was said hurt my feelings. You attach an emotion to it. That's where I thought you were going with it. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes more sense. Like, it seems less like you're coming down on your daughter than it says, hey, I just see me as a person, you know, like, daddy's got feelings too, you know.
That's really it. But it's like, if you were to like, the little mimics that she does online, like that's her being cute, and I know that's her putting on, right? But then there's moments where she's in here like with a straight face watching Nintendo or Ninja Turtles or some shit. She'll just say something that's like a legit, like if your friend said that to you, that's a stab in the side and a twist. It's like, nigga, where did this bravado come from? Like that hurts. Like, where did you learn how to cut so deep? You're 7. How did that happen? So it's like, so in a sense, and again, I don't know if I'm actually even like presenting it the right way, but like that little nigga's mean. And there's no other way to get around it. She's a little mean bully person. She bullies a dog. She bullies us. Like, if there's a comparison moment, she is greater than you. And if not, her mom is. And there's no way that you can talk her off that ledge. So it's like, she has moments where I'm like, you just say things to be saying shit. And I get that because you're 7. You just be saying shit to say shit. And I should be the adult more and like know how to handle my emotions in that. But that was a great teaching moment for our daughter, who since she was 4 has had that type of attitude towards her dad. Like, there's never been a moment where it's been like, just like a random come up to me and give me a hug. There's never been a moment where dad hits a level, although she can see it because I'm active as hell. So she sees me run, she sees me jump, she sees me throw football, she sees like all those things where I'm like, oh yeah, daddy's good. You know, daddy's good at that. I'm pretty decent. Nah, I know somebody's. I'm like, all right, dude. Like, where the fuck do I land in your hierarchy of human beings? Because I feel like, for me, the nigga who gave me life was number 1, and that motherfucker didn't give 2 shits about me. To send a card, to write, to come see me at all. And I care about you more than anything in this world. And I feel like I am legit just like a secondary thought.
Do you think, because we've had this conversation, I would imagine it does, but do you think that it stems from the feelings of not being enough and to having to prove that you are enough for your own daughter, your dad enough for your own flesh and blood?
Because that was the goal when she was born, or when I knew that she was going to be a baby, right? I knew that she was a person, a thing, a living thing. My goal and my thought was, I now get to prove to that weird ass nigga that I'm better than him, that I am worthy of something in this world. Now, like when I say it, and I feel like when I say it, I feel like I'm hearing it through the ears of other people, where they're gonna have like their little thoughts and comments or whatever. But you have to understand, like when you feel like you're only going to be good at certain things in life, like I feel like I was only going to be good at being a husband and a dad. And I am a great husband. I am a great father. Like I know that I'm good at these things, so I'm not tripping off that shit. It's just small moments of like, and again, it's selfish, and I know where it's coming from. It's a very selfish feeling. I want that validation from my daughter to know, like, hey, you are a good dad. You're doing good things. Like, I'm okay. Like, I love it. But she doesn't have to give me that. She's breathing. She's learning. She's growing. But like, fuck, I would love it just a little bit.
I think it comes. Yeah, I think it comes. I told my dad that all the time, but it wasn't until high school. It wasn't until like after high school, when I could reflect on who he was as a person and what he did to put me in position to do what I needed to do as an adult. But I could only imagine as when I was, maybe not me, but like when my brother and sister were 6 years old, running around, like what you're feeling, like their world is what it is for them, you know? Yeah. Like Penelope's world is what she does today and tomorrow and yesterday. Like you're thinking about it from, hey, I've loved you since the day you came into this world, and for you not to tell me you love me, it's like, it's a horrible comparison, but it's like you're in a relationship and you're ready to tell your girl, hey, I love you, or you've said it already, and they're like, oh, thanks. Yeah. Like that's a gut punch, no matter what relationship that is. Cliff. If someone does
fuck with you later on,
I'll
fuck with you later on.
Exactly. So I mean, I feel that I know it'll come.
Oh, man.
When Penelope kind of recognizes and just has some sort of self-reflection, because I don't know about you, but at 7 years old, I was not self-reflecting.
No, and that's the thing. Like, I got to keep telling myself, this nigga's irrational as fuck. She truly told me today, literally, we were walking. She was like, Daddy, sometimes I feel like we're in a video game. What if I'm playing myself in a video game from another place? I was like, all right, cool. You obviously think weird. Because then I asked her, I was like, what if we have like life on another planet? She was like, what do you mean?
I would have broken the fourth wall on her and been like, who says you're holding the controller?
Oh man, no, I didn't want to fuck her up. I was like,
yo, you play as Mario on Mario Kart all the time. Are you Mario? No. Oh yeah, that's what I would have done. I would have made her think that way. Like, my own form of mental warfare.
At that point, we're battling in the minds now.
We are on a floating rock in an endless view of nothingness that is growing every day. You want to feel small?
Dude, literally have those thoughts daily. But I don't want to fuck my child's mind up. If she does have a mind like mine, I'm not trying to rock her. But she already is thinking that way.
But like, what if imagine if you had thought that way at 7. How vast you would have thought even more past where you're at now. I get that,
but also, dude, like some of those thoughts are scary as shit. So a 7-year-old me who was afraid of corners and gyms was not thinking about like, yo, we are this big and infinite and it's nothing. What is nothing? Like closure.
We're all made out of atoms.
Like, hey, so you know dirt. You're made out of dirt, dude. What? Yeah, dirt, farts, fish scales. That's you.
Yeah.
No, it's not. That's not. Like, it would have rocked my fucking brain. I would have went to school. Like, I already was the nigga who told people Santa wasn't real. So I would have fucked niggas up. They pulled me out of school for that shit. It was like, it's just moments like that, man, where, again, it's like, you do think, you're like, this is a moment where I know I was not meant for my daughter. I did not make my daughter for me. She is her own person, and I love the fact that she has that in her. Because, again, one day it will come. Her mom's going to tell her no at certain points where she really wants some shit. And I'm not saying that I'm going to say yeah, but her mom is going to say no, and she's going to be like, oh, well, fuck you, mom. I want to go live at daddy's house. Cool. Okay, There we go. Let's rock it. Let's rock with it.
Yeah, I think, I don't necessarily feel those yet, because right now, I mean, Mayari's super snuggly.
Yeah, but also, bro, like, you're in a different position than I am, right?
Yeah.
A lot of my worries and fears and overthinking, and a lot of my daughter's pauses come from her having the realization that I was not there for a while, and now I am here. So in a sense, I'm still trying to find me. She is still trying to find her comfort with me. And it's not that she's not comfortable with me, but it's moments where, like, she doesn't tell her mom that she loves her. I just want that love, because that's what I wanted when I was 7, right? So it's just, it's the self-projection of what you might have wanted and the realization of what your child does need. Like you said, parenting to that child. I'm trying to parent a 7-year-old Blair in Penelope's body. And that'll never work, because Penelope has all the love in the world. Like, her base level players is 4. And then if you reach outside there, it's granny, 4 aunts, 3 cousins on one side, or 4 cousins on one side. And then it's me, my brother, my sister, my mom, and all them. So she's got the love of the world. So she don't need it like I did, which is dope as fuck. And that's what I want people to know. Like, I know that my daughter's going to be doper than me because she has the love and the freedom to express herself. Her dad gave her time to walk away 30 minutes by herself, coloring in her room. And then I knocked on the door. Hey, can I come in and talk to you? All right. I don't want to talk to you. I want to let you know that this is what I was saying. I love you. Now tell me how you feel. And I will sit here until you can find the words to really say what you mean. And that's what we did. Gave her a kiss on the forehead. I was like, I'm going to get up out of here, bro. Rye's here. He's going to pick you up, take you to go see mommy. And that's what it was. Right after that, nigga, high energy, back to who she was before. It's just, I know the tools that I would have needed in that moment, because in a sense, I am parenting 7-year-old Blair. Because her energy and attitude is similar to mine, so I know what I would need in those moments. And I'm better equipped with better tools to talk to my daughter about it. And that's how you just wrap that whole thing.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I mean, just, yeah, in that moment, like, experiencing that presence of mind of knowing, like, all right, I'm not parenting, recognizing I'm parenting the 7-year-old version of myself in my daughter's body. And yeah,
and you'll never have to go through that.
I think
you won't. You and Kate are solid as shit. What you and Kate have going on is insanely beautiful. But that doesn't mean that one day Blue is going to be higher than you, or Bingo is going to be higher than you on the list. It's just how my daughter's sarcasm and jokes are different. How is your daughter going to handle those? How are you going to handle those moments instead? You know what I'm saying?
It's a different list. In my head, it's just a different.
Oh yeah, I mean, I get it.
I know. Yeah, like I've rationalized in my head. I'm like, all right, yeah, Bluey's dope. Like, all right, obviously you see it. Like, Bluey's dope. I get it. I just know, like, and you kind of gave me permission to be arrogant and be cocky. Is I know my daughter loves me because I'm trying my fucking hardest. Sir. That's my biggest, and that's probably my biggest fear, is like her not realizing how hard her dad was trying.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I just want her to know, like, I get it. Like, I'm going to make mistakes. She'll recognize them. She'll be probably one of the first people to point them out. But I want her to recognize Oh, he was trying, and that's what I recognized within my own dad. Like, yeah, he made his mistakes, but he was trying. Like he used all the tools he had available, which weren't many. You know, like when we think about like mental health awareness, stuff like that, just that whole thing. Like my dad wasn't equipped to deal with that. Neither was my mom, and obviously she was a little bit more sensitive to it than my dad. But like, yeah, like they weren't prepared for that. Like everything that I felt that I wasn't getting was something that they were lacking as parents at the time that I was a kid. So like, but they did their fucking best. Like give your parents grace. And that doesn't mean like I don't still have issues with my dad, but I give him grace on the fact that as a dad, did a good job.
And that,
look at me now,
right? Look at my dog
like
now.
you know, like I'm doing okay. Like you created a good kid. I'm over here talking to a good friend of mine about being a better dad and create like so you did a good job. Success.
And I think that's what. And again,
That's a
I see
win.
that. I see that in my relationship with Penelope as well. It's like I know that she knows that I'm trying. I know that she knows that her daddy loves her, and I know that she loves me. It's just the I think I would love the verbalization of it just a little bit more.
All right, so we learned Blair's love language, ladies and gentlemen. Words of affirmation.
Well, it's that physical touch from my wife and words of affirmation from mostly everybody else. Yeah. But
you go.
This was literally 2 seconds ago as we were talking. That's my goose just sending me pictures of her and the cat. So again, like I'm on the list. It's just a nigga ain't that high on the list.
Yeah. As you can see, there was a picture of a cat.
Yeah, a cat is still like, hey, look what I got.
Right, let's jump into it. So for today's draft, we are going to draft cereal.
Damn.
Top 5 cereal. Snake draft.
Ooh, snake style. Nice.
Snake style, yeah. So I'm going to give you the first pick of the draft. What? Blair. Yes. Top cereal picks.
All right,
Let's go.
You should have never gave us niggas money because I'm getting Cinnamon Toast Crunch off the top. God, that's my number one. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, best cereal of all time. In my opinion, we can fight if you want, but that's it. Cinnamon Toast Crunch all day.
Ain't no fight because I don't agree with you.
See, that's you and Fritos. That's Jake, you and Fritos, bro. It's all good. See, this is gonna be the one that, like, I feel like TikTok. I think I might have won TikTok over with that. Y'all niggas like that.
I don't know. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I mean, I get it. Like Kate loves. I don't know. I don't know, and I'm struggling with my top because like my go-to.
What's your grandpa ass go-to, bro? What's your number one pick?
Yeah, if you want it, no, I think that's a draft all in itself. What's your grandpa cereal? Because that's a whole different category. Because I'm not putting freaking cornflakes on this list. Like it's
Quaker Oats is not going on here. Warm cereal, we're not doing that. We're not doing it.
That's a whole different category. All right, we leave the dentures at home.
Right, what you got?
Type shit. Ooh. All right. I think I don't think you're gonna take this, but Reese Puffs.
Oh, what was gonna take? That's gonna be number 2. That's number 2.
Yo, the chocolate peanut butter combo is my favorite combination of anything. Like you ice cream, McFlurries. Like obviously, I mean McFlurries and ice cream are basically the same thing, but like it's the chocolate peanut butter is amazing. I'm just saying, it's basically the same thing.
So shit, since you went with that hoe, you know what I'm saying? You did take one of mine. That was definitely number 2. I ain't gonna lie, number 2. We're gonna go with Cocoa Pebbles, the cereal. Now I'm gonna ask you, can I get Cocoa Pebbles and Fruity Pebbles? No, my fault. This is a snake draft. You get the next pick. Mm-hmm. My bad. I think it just showed my hand. But you get the snake pick.
You did, but that's a conversation all in itself. My next pick, Captain Crunch.
Okay, cool.
Rip the top roof of your mouth type
I
Captain
hate that
Crunch.
shit. So
That shit is hella
you
crunchy.
can have that. I hate that shit.
It is Captain Crunch.
The way you said it, Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
You definitely can have that. I don't want that at all. That shit, legit, it rips the top of your mouth. You're like, come on, bro. I did not want to get into a war at breakfast.
See, I might be psychotic because I could eat that shit dry.
Kate, run.
Just
run, Kate. This nigga's crazy, Kate. Kate, this nigga's crazy.
A quick handful. Like, if you hungry, like, you know how good, if you really hungry and you ain't got no milk, you know how good dry cereal can be?
No, that's why I eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch, because it's really good. It's cinnamon and sugar cookies, pretty much. With that being said, my number 2 cereal is Cookie Crisp. I fucking love some Cookie Crisp. That's like one of my favorite.
Wait, so you changing?
Yeah, because it's a snake draft. So I can go Cookie Crisp 2, and then I can go Cocoa Puffs 3.
I thought you said Cocoa Pebbles.
Well, yeah, that's it. My fault. Yeah, Cocoa Pebbles 3, Cookie Crisp 2, Cinnamon Toast Crunch 1.
All right, so Cookie... All right, yeah. Got it. Okay. All right.
So now, what's your 4 and 5? No, you're on 3 or 4. Yeah, what's your 3 and 4?
Yeah. All right, so... All right, that opens it up because those are that's the top. I'm looking at a list here.
Did I take one from you?
I don't have any.
Okay.
No. You didn't. So I had Captain Crunch and Reese's Puffs. I'm gonna throw in the best fruity type cereal. Tricks are for kids.
Oh,
baby.
Okay.
Tricks are for kids, baby.
I give you that. It's not on my list. You got it, but I give you that.
Yeah.
Tricks are for kids, baby.
Kids, silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. Yo, I'm gonna bring that back. That's such a
gonna be some shit we just say. Silly rabbit.
Yo, Mayari, don't get it twisted. If I hit you,
silly rabbit,
silly
Mayari, silly MJ.
Tricks are for
hey,
kids.
bro, I don't know where to go with this. I think I'm gonna hit you with the hood. See, this isn't like a top, but this is one of my cereals, like, because it is. No, my fault. Draft snake.
You keep stepping on the
pick. Because I'm so like, this is like something I'm very excited about.
Yeah, you right.
But also I'm used to us just going back and forth. So you got to give me some grace with that, bro.
All right. So with my next pick, you know what? I'm gonna throw in a grandpa ass cereal.
Oh shit.
My last 2 might be grandpa ass cereals because it's just what I rock with.
What you got?
Raisin Bran Crunch, not the regular Raisin Bran, the Crunch. The Crunch got to be there because that's basically
it got the little extra. It got the whatever that is, whatever that extra.
I like the Crunch. I'm about that Crunch with the potato chips with the Fritos. I'm about that Crunch. I like a good Crunch.
I'm on board with you. I'm not fighting you with this. Raisin Bran is a top tier cereal. Niggas sleep on it all the time. Yeah. I don't care what y'all say.
Sugar-coated raisins?
I don't care what y'all say, bro. The sugar-coated raisins, the crunch in there, the flakes, it's just living. It's you get so much in there, bro.
It feels like you eating healthy too because they got the raisins.
That's the only thing that makes it healthy. You really, really think you're eating healthy.
It's probably not as healthy though. It's probably not as healthy.
Raisins, bro. Yo, it's still, and I would throw sugar in there. I would throw more sugar on top.
Oh,
I was not a healthy person. And with that, my 5th pick is gonna be Honey Bunches of Oats, because I would throw sugar on top of it, and I still got some up there right now. I throw sugar on top of it with my oat milk. It's cracking. Love it. That's it. That's my 5. That's my 5.
All right, I think. Wait, do I have a 5th pick, or was that?
No, that was a 4th pick. You got this is your last.
I got one more pick. All right. I mean, I got all the options.
Yeah, you can pick whatever.
I can pick literally whatever. I'm just looking at like a list of cereals like Honey Smacks. I'm thinking of like the
bro,
the characters.
I
Honey
just punched.
Smacks. I'm like, oh damn, that was a good.
I just fucked up.
I'm seeing Applejack still on the board.
It's a couple. I feel like you're not gonna say it, and it's gonna be my honorable mention if you don't say it.
Golden Grams. What do we got else here? What else?
I got an honorable mention, dog. I got one. When you done, I got my honorable mention. I need this one. Give me this one, please.
You need
I need
this
it,
one?
bro. Unless you pick it. Unless you pick it, then I don't need it.
Nah, I don't think I will. Another old man cereal that is still back, like Frosted Mini Wheats.
What? You had me at Frosted. I thought you were about to say Frosted Flakes. What is it about
so the reason I didn't say
Wheats?
Frosted Flakes, again, it's the crunch. Okay, it's a little extra, but Frosted Flakes would have been my next up. But I can have it alone, like milk Frosted Flakes. I like adding it was the first thing I ever really remember about my dad. I saw him chop up little slices of bananas.
There we go.
In the Frosted Flakes. If I can add to the box itself, freshly sliced bananas, ice cold vitamin D milk, Frosted Flakes. That would be my number 5. If that can be that. But if I have to just pick solely the cereal.
All right, so we'll say Frosted Mini Wheats is your 5, and then the Frosted Flakes with the fresh banana is your honorable mention. My honorable mention is any of the Halloween branded cereals. Count Chocula, Boo, Frankenberry, like any of those motherfuckers. Now, I literally just my god, bro. Blueberry cereal and with oat milk, that shit it literally tastes like blueberry oat milk, bro. And it's backhand. I swear to God, I love that shit to death, bro. It's my favorite cereal.
So you had mentioned it in the early part, Cocoa Pebbles. Okay. Now, is it just me, or can you also just eat a whole box in one sitting?
It's not just you. I will. You gotta take it away from me.
It's a cereal that goes by quick.
You gotta take that away from me.
It goes by quick. Now, I'm almost I don't know. I think I'm a bigger fan of Fruity Pebbles over Cocoa Pebbles.
Yes.
Because Fruity Pebbles is fucking, and it smells so damn good.
What is the smell of Fruity Pebbles, bro? It just smells like heaven. No, but that's what I was saying. Like, I don't know if I can get both of them in there, but I just recently with my daughter, we just like a couple Saturdays ago, we watched cartoons in the morning at like 8. We were watching X-Men, the old school one, and just eating cereal. She had her Fruit Loops, and I had Cocoa Pebbles, and it was up.
All right. It's not set
let's just
yet.
phase into
We're gonna have him. We don't have him on the podcast yet. Aaron Munn, Trap Golf. I'm looking at my boy's Trap Golf hat right now. I'm gonna need that with like the undertones of
a bowl of cereal.
Yeah, Fruity Pebbles, because like that specific silhouette, but like,
fuck with it, man.
The artwork that you could create with that, bro. I want a Trap Golf cereal collab. Yo, shout out to any of these cereals that want to sponsor us, because we will
eat on camera.
Yo, we'll go in on. Yo, we'll start with a bowl of cereal. Because breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Somebody said that back in the day. I don't believe it, but yes, it is. I want to go back to the cereal thing. And they've also sponsored me in a video before when I was streaming. My daughter's very first video that she has on YouTube is actually her doing a rating video of this cereal, Magic Spoon, which is a really good cereal that has 12 to 14 grams of protein, complete protein, no artificial ingredients. And they're really good because it's based off of our childhood cereals. I'm just going to list off some of the things that they have. So they have a Fruity Pebble, a cocoa, a birthday cake, a maple waffle, cinnamon roll, blueberry muffin, frosted, and peanut butter. And when I tell you it's 0 grams of sugar, but it tastes so good, bro. My daughter legit rated them. I'll send you the video. My daughter legit rated all of them like in the top, like I think we went 1 to 10. She was 7 to 10 on all of them. And I was showing the camera, like, it's no sugar in this. And at the very end, like, after the video, I told her, like, None of that had sugar. She was like, really? I like that, Dad. And I was like, cool. We'll go for this from now on.
Yo, for our watchers on YouTube, that video will be linked below.
We'll definitely link it below for sure. Y'all can check out my baby girl doing her thing. But no, you were speaking about it. You talked about being raised in the Catholic Church, and in a sense, removing yourself from the body that is the church, but still being present spiritually. How do you and Kate kind of go about that thought process with baby girl? Because I know my child's mom, I don't know completely their upbringing in the church. Myself, I was one of those kids who was raised in the Southern Baptist church. You went to church Sunday through Sunday. There was no day in the week that you weren't at church, like at some point in time. My stepdad was a part of he was the choir director. My mom was a part of the choir. I was on kids choir. We went to Bible study on Wednesdays. We went to Mother's Church on Tuesdays, deacon meetings on Mondays, kids meetings on Fridays, and then Saturdays they did just like pre-church, and then Sunday we went to church. So every single day of the week we were damn near at a church. But since then I have removed myself from church as well. I just believe in a higher power, not the white Jesus or white God that they portray to us, but more of a overly powerful woman that has created life, because you and I as men can't create life. So in my eyes, how can God be a man? That's a subject for another day. But
we have turned into a vastly different podcast.
Weird. But how do you guys like, what was Kate's upbringing religiously growing up and yours? Obviously we know. And how do you guys kind of mesh those in trying to teach your daughter religiousness or spiritualism?
So, great question.
Hell yeah, I know. I got them, bro. They be coming off the top of the dome too.
Yeah, great question. Because it is a part of being a father to have those conversations about belief. So like we've said, I was raised, I was baptized in the Roman Catholic Church. So that was my upbringing. Went to a Catholic grade school on the south side of Chicago. Shout out St. Barnabas in Beverly. And then went to Archbishop Quigley Preparatory Seminary. So that is the high school I went to. And if you don't know, a preparatory seminary is literally the school you go to before you go to the college that you go to become a priest. So
preschool.
We had pre-priest school.
Wow. I want to talk to you off camera about a lot of that. I would love to have a Saturday just to talk to you about that for a little bit.
Bro, we can talk about that on camera. I don't like, it's just, it is whatever you want to know, we can talk about this. I'm transparent about it. But yeah, that's where I went to high school. So prayer service, Monday and Friday, mass in the middle of the day. So I was doing like all during the week. I didn't go to now granted, I didn't go to church on Sundays because I was like, well, I've gone to church all week at school and the golf course is open on Sunday. So we're going golfing. But Kate was not raised religious. I don't believe, I always have to try to remember, but like, I don't believe she was baptized. Her mom, I believe, is Christian. So like at like Christmas, Easter, any big dinner like that, we're saying grace.
Yep.
And that's really the only time. Now, as we look at Mayari and how we raise her, and my biggest thing is I just want to make sure she has a sense of faith. Faith in the definition of believing in something, whatever that may be. Kind of like what we talk about with my willingness or lack thereof posting her online. She can't give me her consent. So we obviously know in the Christian community, like, all right, hey, my baby's getting
Yep.
christened or baptized, however you want to phrase it. Did they have a right to choose that? Like, is that the religion you know that your child wants to practice, or did you take that choice away from them? Now, folks may come at me in the comments for saying it the way I did, but like in my head,
I got you, bro.
Consent is real. You know?
I was told
like
to stand up and volunteer to be baptized twice.
Yeah. Like in my head, like I didn't ask to get baptized. I didn't really ask, but I chose to get confirmed in the Catholic Church, and then that's kind of when I was like, yeah. The more and more I started to think for myself, I was like, I don't see it. Like now, because that is the baseline of my faith, when I am praying or in those moments of meditation, I am thinking of God. Like anytime I see a car pulled over on the side of the road by law enforcement, or someone with a flat tire, or someone struggling, or like we pass the homeless population here in Chicago, you know, like you drive past them. Anytime I see somebody down on their luck like that, I used to do like the sign of the cross, like as like my own little prayer for them. I'm like, I hope God looks out for you. And when I say God, I'm thinking more of like, I hope the universe just gives you a better hand. I hope it works out for you. And then I recognized, I was like, well, I'm still kind of perpetuating a religion that I don't necessarily believe in. So instead of doing the sign of the cross, I just kiss my wrist. It's a tattoo that I have that says BOME, BOME, period. Kate has a little bit of a speech impediment. So one of her first, this is the first time it happened, but when we were like texting, she had texted or said, hey, when will you be BOME? And what she said was, she could just combine, when will you be back? Which was, hey, I was spending the night at her place. So when will you be back?
Home.
And then when will you be home? Which that means she thought enough of me to consider, hey, when are you coming back home? Like here, where you live, but I wasn't living with it. Yeah, this is your home now. Like we're together. And so that's what I have on my wrist. This is my version, because I've seen so many bad stories of people getting names of significant others tattooed on their body and regretting that. So I was like, this was my way around that, is nice. To have a tattoo for her. But anytime I do see those instances of people pulled over by law enforcement or in a tough time or whatever, I kind of kiss my wrist of like, man, I hope you make it back home. That's my own little prayer for those people. So something like that, when I think about raising Mayari with faith, is I want her to believe in something. And like you said, like the universe, the creator, it's a woman. Like I think about other spiritualities and other faiths. There's so many similarities, similar stories told from different lenses and different perspectives. It's hard for me not to think that we all don't originate from one sense of faith. But I do like the idea of some of the indigenous tribes that believe like in the essence of other creatures and other things like existing around us, the trees, the just the life around us, and believing, like, again, little nod to my number one fictional father, Mufasa. We are all part of the circle of life, and showing respect and appreciation for the life around us, because at one point we will be part of that life, you know? So wanting her to believe in something like that is important. And then I don't know. Like, I think when I pray, when times get tough, it's just, I'm just venting. I'm just talking to the universe to speak it to, like, the whole manifestation of, like, I'm just talking it out. But I mean, from a young age, I knew I was spiritual. My mom knew I was spiritual. Her dad had passed away the year I was born. And she was convinced that, him moving on only made room for me, but also in the same sense that, man, De'Meco, he would have loved you because he always wanted a son. He had 4 girls.
Damn.
He always wanted a son to have a grandson that he would have, with all the discipline in the world, would have spoiled me. And those are her words. Obviously, I'd never met this person, but his name, I bear his as a version of that as my middle name, and it means a lot to me to know that that's my connection to my grandpa, my Lolo. For my Filipino folks out there, that's my Lolo. I remember, I don't know when it was, but I imagined or I saw him in as real as you are right here in front of me. I remember seeing him, and my mom asked, like, who are you talking to? Who are you playing with? And I was like, oh, I'm playing with Lolo. Like, that's my guardian angel. I said that before I knew what that meant. I knew that there's somebody out there looking out for me. I just put a face to it of someone that I could comprehend. And I feel like that's all religion is it's explaining the unexplainable by the only means that you can. So that's, and I think that's what I did within my own mind of like, oh, I'm just imagining this sense of calm that I feel over me as my guardian angel, my Lolo. So as long as Kate or as Mayari has that, I just pull from other different faith bases, like in the Mexican culture. I am familiar with the Mexican culture because that's when my mom got married, it was to a Mexican man. So I had an abuela that I called Abu, and like making tamales and all that, like feeling that culture. I was exposed to Dia de los Muertos and having an ofrenda, and that only kind of reignited in my life when Coco came out.
Man. Love Coco.
And the whole premise behind that movie of not being forgotten. And I was like, Kate, we need to make sure we have our own version of an ofrenda, to have pictures of the members of our family that we no longer have, so that we can provide those stories to Mayari, because we are nothing without the stories of our family. It's what makes us who we are now. Like, I mean, is again, as tumultuous as the relationships are that we've had respectively with our own fathers, we still reference them to this day.
Yeah.
Because like we are connected to those people through who we are. And I think it's important that they get remembered. And it would be scary to think about the plot of Coco and being forgotten. And that is your final descent, like, or final ascent, is the day you get forgotten. Oh, that's scary. That's such a lonely thing to feel. Like, I remember feeling that with that scene when Miguel's trying to get the guitar from the old guy that's dying, and you just see him fade away. I'm like, bro, that wrecked me. And
those feelings are so real.
Mama Coco. Yeah. Oh my God, Mama Coco gets me to cry every time. Shout out.
Yeah, Coco's such a beautiful movie. But like, I was telling my wife that last night. Those are the thoughts that I have like right before bed, which is very scary. And I think that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier with my own daughters, like the fear of me not being here and not doing enough to be remembered by her is what scares me. And it's what drives me to be a better father. And I'm glad that we kind of got on this subject here, because it was able for me to like kind of tie two things together in a sense, because that's exactly what it was.
We bounced around.
Oh yeah, it's all good, brother. Like this was us having a raw conversation. This is literally like you guys like this was just us having a production meeting when we just had a dope conversation in it, which we'll have our PM after this. But this is just a production meeting, and usually how we talk normally with each other whenever we get on the call. But no, it was like it does mean a lot to feel like you might be remembered. Like having that thought of like never not being forgotten. And I think that's the legacy behind this. George Washington Carver said that a man or a person should want to live, should be born in this world and do enough in this world to be remembered, to leave a legacy behind. Like that's the definition of legacy to George Washington Carver, is like being born into a world that you had no control over, but being able to, when you pass on from here, have a stronger sense of purpose because you created something and you left a mark here, is a legacy. And that's what this podcast is. So I think all that stuff kind of ties into the conversation earlier about my daughter.
We were talking about legacy, and I'm trying to find the moment in the clip to share that so that the audience can see, but maybe that'll be a social media clip that we'll reference. But shout out Doug Smith, Will Lowry, and the Beyond the Fairway podcast that they had with Golf Channel. They had their first episode with Ray Allen, who is, I mean, Jesus now behind Steph Curry, but Jesus, yeah, that guy. He was on their podcast, and what he said hit me so much as far as me wanting to create content that documents my life. He said it is so important because if you look at movies now, we've got so many biopics of historical people in communities that don't resemble our own. And so, for a blunt way to say it, mostly white people. What does that history say? Obviously, history is told by the winners. And so they're the ones winning and at telling their story. But that doesn't negate the fact that people in the Black and brown community have stories themselves to tell. And the only reason we don't tell them is because people don't write them down. We're too busy living those stories, but no one writes in a journal. No one documents it themselves of like, hey, this is my day to day. So you can see the grind. You can see how hard I'm trying to be a good dad and grow this podcast with my man Blair to be something that we're both proud of. This is our legacy. That's what Ray Allen was talking about. He's like, it's important for people in the Black and brown communities to document their life.
Yeah.
Because who's to say that 10 years from now, we are not as big as the biggest podcasters or whoever you see in this space. They're going to make a movie about this one day. Well, they got to pull the source material from somewhere. Is it just going to be from some distant relative of I knew him when type stuff?
Yeah.
Or can you control the narrative of what you're actually doing and what you're actually experiencing? So I think it's important to document that for your own legacy, because you know what? At the moment, your legacy is only important to you. But that family that happens after you, they're going to be searching for something. I do it now. I wish I had more access to my grandparents. I only have one grandparent now. So I can't pull from them and ask what life was like for them growing up. I constantly have to remind myself the only living grandparent I have now is my Lola. She's Filipino. She lived in the Philippines while Japan occupied the Philippines, like during World War II. Like, to think that that's something that she experienced, I forget about all the time. And I'm like, man, like it had to be so crazy to live through that. I think about my dad. I'm like, growing up on the south side of Chicago, born in the late 50s. What?
Hell yeah.
Like, what? That's crazy. Being in an interracial relationship in the late 80s, early 90s, that's crazy. That's a little crazy back then. Crazy. Like, you gotta remind yourself of that. And what's the day? Loving Day? When interracial marriage or relationships became legal in the United States, I applaud those people every day because I am in an interracial relationship. I am a product of one.
Yeah.
So I feel that every day. So yeah, I mean, I would have loved to understand the nuances that impacted who I am today, because every decision made by generations past have impacted me who I am today. And I would have loved to see what that looked like for my parents, my grandparents, and beyond. So right now we just documenting that journey.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Penelope and Mayari to see this and be like, look, I'm looking at you, okay?
Yeah, this is for you, shorty.
It's like what you were when you had Penelope on the video, like, hey, you want to say something to your future self, like to say like, oh snap, I could be talking to future Mayari. Damn, that's great. Like that's a we're just small atoms on a rock, and that we're not holding the controller.
Yeah, legit. Somebody else is playing us in the video game, and they're like, "Oh, these people are so boring. Let's make them say more boring stuff."
Here's something crazy. So you had talked about telling kids that Santa doesn't exist. Who's to say that your future grandchild doesn't see this and this is how they find out?
Great granddaddy said what? What did you do, Dad? A long time ago. Let me hear you. Long time ago. No, like that's legit how I think about and how I thought about when I first started Honor Club Media, which is when you said that you guys were gonna change the name to Our Family Vibe Media Company. I thought that was beautiful as hell. Like that's how it should be. Like fuck it, let's rock it up.
Yeah, I took a nod from you. I took a nod from you on that one.
But I think the biggest thing is like I would love for her to see and know like, the creativity I have and the drive that I have can go somewhere. Like I want to leave this and make something like this big enough and successful enough to where this is real. This is a real media company. Two media companies merged together, and both of our babies can be successful from that and see that they don't have to work a regular 9 to 5. Like from 12, if you wanted to, you could start working for dad's companies, right? And you can find a sense of ownership in this. And then with a sense of ownership comes a sense of pride, and you work harder because it's yours. So all those things that we get to just think about and like hope that we foresee, we get to put into actual action with this podcast. So Mayari and Penelope, understand your parents want you to work 2 times as hard as we did, although you have more than we did when you started. That's how I feel, at least. I want Mayara to work 2 times as hard as Kate and De'Meco, even though she is in a better position starting wise than De'Meco and Kate were. And that's how it should be.
And in thinking about what we're documenting now, it further instills that sense of pride of, oh, I saw my dad's get this out the mud. Like we saw the first episode, we saw the second episode,
we saw the fuck up of the third and fourth episode. We saw them get it back.
We saw the pilots.
We saw them get it back. We saw them upgrade the production value. We saw them transition communication wise. Each pod is a different pod. Like you guys who are watching this, like when you watch this in 2024 and then when you watch this in 2027, it's going to be a different, like it's all going to be viewed and perceived different. And that's what art is. And that's why I love art so fucking much, is because what we're doing right now is going to be looked at and received by 1,000 different people 1,000 different ways. And thank God for that, because everybody will be able to take something from this. And that's why we created this, is so you guys can take something from this. This is your podcast as much as it is ours. We're just the 2 talking heads.
And with that also, drop some questions in the comments.
Just like we said earlier, drop them questions in the comments, man. Exactly. All right, you guys. Well, as you know, we say it all the time, we could have sat here and talked to you guys all day, and I love my brother to death. I know that he has things to get to, and I definitely got some things to get to. Thank you guys for tuning in, because you could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to rock out with this pod. Makes us feel good. Like, we truly appreciate you all. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below with any question that you guys want us to answer, because we are starting to do that, and we would love to know how the community feels about any and everything. To be perfectly honest,
we know you got some different picks on that cereal.
We for sure want to know what that is. So, with all that being said, shout out to Trap Golf. Make sure that you use the promo code FatherTimePod at checkout for an extra 20% off. That's my brother De'Meco. I'm your play party host from Motion Country Cousin, Sir Winnie. Make sure you tell somebody you love them, bro, because we love you. Remember, there's no playbook to this, bro. So you're never not dad. Make sure that you check us out, reach out, because this is a community for this exact purpose. So we love you all. Make sure you tell somebody you love them. Peace. Have a good one.
Peace.
Ho, 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 ho. Fuck all that! Nah.